From the 22 News Plus studio, this is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of InFocus. I am your host, Patrick Berry. We're here in the 22 News Plus studios. It's an interesting conversation today. I'm joined here by Nora Schmidt and Jennifer Capshaw, and we're talking about pediatric cancer, but it's a sad story, but with a great outcome. We're going to start up to your left with Nora. Nora is the mother of Maddie, who unfortunately passed away at age 8. What was the form of cancer that Maddie had?
So Maddie had a rare form of brain cancer called DIPG,
Okay.
which stands for diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma. And it came on really quickly, like almost overnight. She was living her best life as a first grader, loving gymnastics and family time. And just one day she woke up and her eye was crossed. We went for an MRI to find out that she had DIPG, which I had never heard of before.
So DIPG, how prevalent is it? I mean, as a parent, yeah, of course, you've never heard of it, but I mean, do a lot of kids have this? Is it?
So 300 children in the United States are diagnosed with DIPG a year. So it's very rare.
So 300 kids have it. It's very, very rare. So how did the doctor know that, this was it?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. I know that when we went in for the MRI, they told us that they would call us with the results, and then afterwards they didn't let us go home right away. So we kind of knew something was going on. And in the emergency room there, they told us that it was a brain tumor. But in my mind, I just thought, well, okay, you'll fix it for her,
Right,
and we're just going to move on. And unfortunately, the next day, they had told us it's a specific location that they know it's DIPG and it's on the pons of your brain. So that's how they knew. And then we found out about DIPG.
And then, so it's on the DIPG, it's on the pons of the brain. What does that mean?
So it means that basically they cannot operate on it because it's too close to such places in your brain that you need to live, such as like your blood pressure, your breathing, your swallowing.
Critical
and it kind
functions.
of webs out and like attacks and kind of gets onto all of that. And so they cannot remove it. So they have to try to find some kind of trial drug to attack the tumor itself without removing it physically.
You and your husband must have been.
We were just in shock. Yeah, we were
in
absolute shock. And we just kept thinking, you hear these stories, but not
us.
Maddie, not us. This isn't happening. And unfortunately, it happens to more people than you can imagine learning.
So is it a hereditary thing?
It is not. No, it's not hereditary. Really? They're still trying to figure out how or why this happens. And they really don't have any answers to that at this point. I know they know like a specific age. Like there's a general, I believe it's like 7 to 11 years old is sort of like the average age, but it can happen as young as 18 months old, and it can happen up to almost 20 years old as well.
Oh, but Jen, unfortunately, from tragedy, great things come from that, and that's the magic for Maddie.
Sure. I think we learned early on, like Nora said, the first night when Maddie was diagnosed, we went into go mode and we said, okay, it's a brain tumor, but 90% of kids are cured from brain tumors.
Right.
I used to work at Dana-Farber. We said, we're going to get her to Boston. We're going to get her the best of the best, and we're going to fix this. And then we were gutted when we, the next day, found out that it was DIPG and that truly there was not much that we could do. And they told us to go home and make memories. And obviously that wasn't what we were going to do. So while Nora and Greg were focused on getting Maddie the best care in the world, we as a family decided we needed to help them. So pretty early on, we were sitting in my kitchen. I think it was one Friday night in February, right after she was diagnosed, and we said we need to do something to have Maddie look forward to. And we need her to know how supported she is and how much the community loves her. And also we wanted to find a way to financially support the Schmidts. Nora left her job immediately on hearing the diagnosis, and they were pursuing a clinical trial in Philadelphia. So there were travel expenses and life expenses. And so we decided that Maddie is magic. So we should have an event. We're going to call it Magic for Maddie, have a huge carnival, raise some money to support the family during this fight so they could care for Maddie and not worry about that, and show them the love and the power of community. And thankfully, Western Mass stepped up, and that's exactly what we did.
So, Nora, when did Maddie pass?
Maddie passed away December 31st, 2022.
So it's almost 3 years.
It is almost 3.
But Magic for Maddie started while she was still alive.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I guess what was her last few months like? I mean, how bad was this disease? Like, how did it?
It was the worst of the worst. Whatever you're picturing times 10. When she was first diagnosed, she did get the honeymoon period after radiation, where we went on a trip of a lifetime with all the cousins and family, and we went to Walt Disney World and did all the things. But she was diagnosed in February, and she was really great until I would say mid-July. And then she started to sort of not be able to, get a weakness on one side, couldn't really walk. But towards the end, it was horrific. She wasn't able to walk. She couldn't talk. She couldn't swallow. And cognitively, she was still there. And so, you didn't know what she was thinking. You didn't know how she was feeling. And we were just trying to take care of her the best we could. But it was pretty heartbreaking to watch.
I can't even begin to imagine as a parent, But have you gained strength from other parents?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I've gained strength from other parents, and just feeling the support and love from other people when they showed up to Magic for Maddie the first year, but also how they continue to show up. My biggest fear is that people would either forget Maddie or wouldn't know Maddie. And that is why we've continued to do Magic for Maddie, because I want people to see her sweet little face throughout the carnival on all of our pictures and things, and know what a beautiful soul she was and what a presence she made in this world. And she's helping other people now because
Right.
we're able to give back to so many people and turn our pain into purpose for Maddie.
Jen, at the 5K and run and walk in October, do other DIPG families come out and support and help, and you kind of use each other to kind of grieve and grow strength from?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have one family that's joining us this year, whose child has DIPG. We also have a number of families we support. When we do our local support, we extend beyond DIPG. So we really help children with all forms of pediatric cancer. And it's amazing the number of families who have wanted to come back with teams for their child. And they have their sports teams rally around them and their community rally around them. One of the things that's really cool that we're doing this year is we've added a heroes finish line. We started it last year, and everyone who registers, we ask them, like, Maddie is our hero, but we know that so many people have so very personal reasons for doing this. So we have a wall of angels, we have a wall of survivors, we have a wall of fighters, and as people come in, they can high five the finish line and know that their story matters. And because of Maddie, we're changing so many lives.
That is fantastic. We're up on our first commercial break. We'll be right back right after this.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry. This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Welcome back to today's edition of In Focus. I'm joined here in the 22 News Plus studio by Jennifer Capshaw and Nora Schmidt. Good morning or good day, ladies. Thank you both for joining me. We are talking about DIPG. It's a form of pediatric brain cancer that sadly Nora's daughter passed away from at age 8, correct? About 3 years ago. But with tragedy comes great work with the community. And that's kind of what we're really talking about today is the Magic for Maddie Foundation and how Maddie's spirit and image still lives on in all of us.
Right.
You recently, Nora, were down in Washington. Was it for a DIPG event or was it for pediatric cancer event? And tell me about it and what came of it.
Yeah, so it's called CureFest, and in years past, DIPG had like a different section, a brainstorm summit that went with it, but they opted out of it this year. But CureFest is for all pediatric cancers, and so it's families of survivors and fighters, and also for the angel babies that didn't win the fight, and so. We all get together and there's amazing stories and amazing tributes, and really it's honoring all of the children who are true heroes, and they go through more than anybody should in a lifetime plus some. And they are brave and they are beautiful. And it's just a really powerful, incredible weekend to connect with all of these families and organizations.
It has to be an emotional weekend.
Very emotional. Yes, they have a candlelight vigil at night where you can say the angels' names, and we sing. Everybody repeats them in the audience and sing "Amazing Grace" after. And there is also a rally to the Capitol, which is great. Just trying to get more awareness and funding that's so desperately needed. And then there's also a shoe memorial that they do at the monument, and 1,800 pairs of shoes are put out of the children. You know, we put Maddie's purple Converse out there, and they should be running and playing and doing their things. And unfortunately, their kid things. And here we are raising awareness because 1,800 children die from pediatric cancer a year.
So through both of your work, you know, do you feel you have the ear of legislators that and doctors who are the decision makers with research funding or whatever it might be? Are they listening? Are things happening and things getting done?
We're moving the needle.
Okay.
You know, Patrick, it's slow. I will say. I will start off by saying locally, we've had great support from Senator Vilas. We had Congressman Neal attend our event last year. So we've had some great local government support. And in terms of DIPG, we're seeing progress. Recently, the FDA just approved the first ever drug for DIPG. And this is the first drug since 1960. So what a lot of people don't know is
65 years?
Yeah.
It's the first drug they've come up with?
First drug that they've come up with.
Wow.
Neil Armstrong's daughter had DIPG back in the early 60s. She passed away, and, you know, we can put a man on the moon, but we haven't done anything different when Maddie was treated. So for the first time, though, in 3 years, what we're seeing is real progress, and it is organizations like Magic for Maddie and these grassroots organizations that are really moving the needle on this. So for the first time, just this August, the FDA approved a drug that will be a standard of care. So families won't be told, you know, go home and make memories. We'll give you radiation for palliative care. They'll say, here's a drug, and this drug is shown in some patients to prolong life.
Wow.
It's a start. It's not the cure, you know, but they think that it can, you know, if we can combine this with another drug. And Maddie was a part of a trial that combined it with another drug. So let's start here. And it's a glimmer, and we feel really good about that.
The fascinating thing is, we spoke about it earlier, so few children are diagnosed. So 300 kids a year, roughly, that they're putting that much effort into such a small population. It seems odd, but I'm impressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one organization, Chad Tuff, started and years ago, and they've been able to get organizations like the Magic for Maddies throughout the country to join in and combine funds that they're making from their fundraisers, and it's truly making a difference. We were at a conference last year, and one of the doctors had said that, like, please keep doing your lemonade stands, your carnivals, your 5Ks, because they're making a difference. Because the funding that we're really not getting that we need, these families are getting together and getting it done.
Yeah.
So when Maddie was first diagnosed, what happened? So you went to a local hospital and walk me through that.
Yeah. So she woke up one morning and her eye was crossed, and we were concerned, and they thought it could be, you know, strabismus, which is sometimes kids get that. You just wear a patch and it kind of corrects itself. But we brought Maddie to a couple of different eye doctors and specialists, and things just didn't seem to be right. And they ordered the MRI. And as soon as we got the MRI, you know, they had mentioned that they would let us know, like, hopefully the next day. And my husband and Maddie and I were there waiting to sort of take her home. And they told us we had to wait. And as soon as that happened, we kind of got nervous, like something was wrong. And they, you know, pulled Greg and I aside and said that, you know, she's got a brain tumor. And we were shocked. But we were also like, we need to fix this, you know, and we will, and we'll just have it removed and do any treatment necessary.
And like most cancers, caught early enough.
Yes, yep. 90% of children can be brain tumors. I mean, it was scary, but we were going to do this. So she was admitted to Bay State, and then she the next morning, Greg and I were pulled into a different room and handed, a box of tissues and sort of said, it's actually DIPG. They wrote it down, never heard of it before, and said, there's really not much we can do but 6 weeks of radiation and go home and make memories.
Wow.
So
And then, so where did you go for treatment? Where did the trial take place? Were you in Boston?
So,
Were you New York,
that really wasn't good enough answer for our family.
Absolutely.
It was not accepted. So we decided that there must be some other options. So that's when we started to go to Boston Children's and talked with the doctors there, and she was evaluated there, and they were able to do a biopsy on the tumor just to confirm the DIPG, which we kind of knew just because of the location of where it was. But they also went over different trials because there are trials out there, and there were 3 years ago. And that's when we found a trial with the ONC201, as Jen said, with a combination of another drug called Paxlovid. They were hoping that the combination would get rid of the tumor. Unfortunately, it didn't, but we did that trial at CHOP, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Okay.
So
luckily not that far.
It wasn't that
drivable.
Far. Yes,
right.
Yes. There were other options that were across the country and
I've
very
heard people
invasive.
had to go to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota.
Yeah, we had that option, but we had to do what was best for Maddie and for her life. And we felt like that was the best option for her. So.
Fantastic. We are up on our second commercial break. We are talking about DIPG, a form of pediatric brain cancer, and the Magic for Maddie Foundation. We'll be right back after this.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry. This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Welcome back, everyone, to InFocus. I am your host, Patrick Berry. I'm joined here in the 22 News Plus studio by Nora and Jen. They are with the Magic for Maddie organization, which is doing great things to bring awareness to not only DIPG, but other pediatric cancers. So thank you very much for joining me. Appreciate it. In mid-October, there is the big Magic for Maddie. It's the biggest fundraiser I think you guys do throughout the year, correct?
Yes.
Jen, walk me through that day. What is it?
So the day it's essentially a 5K or a walk where families can come and participate athletically. But then the magic of it is really the carnival and the party afterwards. And the party, it was inspired by Maddie. All of these ideas, she was at the first Magic for Maddie that we held back in 2022. So it's designed for kids and for families. So we have a sparkle station where kids can get their hair done and get glitter everywhere. We have professional face painters that come, and we have bounce houses, we have knocker ball, we have a dunk tank, we have a live band and music. What else? What am I missing? We have a magician. A local magician comes, and Magic for Maddie can't be without a magician. So that's sort of the highlight of the day.
We have a petting zoo with pony rides.
Yeah. And this year we are adding a mechanical bull for the first time. So our teenagers requested that we, step it up a little bit. The kids are getting a little bit older. So
are you guys going to ride it?
We'll see if we hit the $1 million.
Yes. So we are hoping we have a big goal to hit $1 million this year and surpass that in total funds raised. So since 2002, since Maddie was diagnosed. So
2022.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Saying that since 2022.
Because I corrected you because think about that. $1 million in 3 years, 4 years. That's mind-boggling how much money you guys have raised.
It surpasses our wildest expectations. When we set out to do this, we had sort of humble expectations, but the community has rallied. Mm-hmm. And, we did it the first year to raise funds for the clinical trial for Nora and Greg to take care of Maddie. But afterwards, the power of this community was so strong, we decided we had to keep it going to pay it forward.
I think what people don't realize is it might be a small thing to them, like, we'll come by, we'll make this donation. It's everything to our family and to Maddie, and we're helping so many others, but we can't do it alone. So.
I wanted to ask you that. So you guys raised nearly $1 million. What happens to that money? Does it all go to research?
No. So we kind of divide it into thirds if we can, essentially. But one goes to research for DIPG specifically, where we partner with Chad Tuff. And then the other one is for DIPG families across the country where, like we said, it helped Greg and I be able to just attend to Maddie and our other two boys, Will and Patrick, and make the trials. And so it goes to families that don't have that community support and that financial support from their community. So we pay different things like their mortgages or their car payments or just groceries. And then the other one is locally, we give back to all pediatric, not all, but people that apply for pediatric cancer in Massachusetts and Connecticut that are diagnosed. So,
And you've been through it, so you know how that fundraising helps, because it helped you and your husband and your boys.
Yes, you're so stressed out in just the fight of saving your child that's like your number one focus. But really, the financial stuff can take a toll. And if you're stressed out about that on top of everything, it's just too much for one family to bear. And we're so fortunate that we are able to pay it forward with the help of everybody and help these families that need it.
And at the Magic for Maddie event, everybody comes out for it, right? I mean, survivors, family members, general community members. It's wonderful to see the support you get. If folks want to make a donation, help, volunteer, run, walk, crawl, what do they have to do?
Well, it's funny you say crawl. We actually have somebody who's fundraising. He's running the race backwards this year. And asking he said, I can raise $1,000 if I run it forwards. I think I can raise $3,000 if I run it backwards. So he said it as a fundraiser. But to answer your question, Patrick, it is Magic for Maddie, our website. So it's www.magicformaddie.com.
And there, see if I can pull that up. Right. Go ahead.
There are ways, we encourage participation. We have over 300 sponsors, which is unbelievable. So there's sponsorship opportunities. We're looking at almost 2,000 participants, probably over 2,000 participants. Wow. And it takes about a village, right? It takes 150 volunteers to really get this off the ground. So we're looking for volunteers. Yeah. We have a giant raffle. It happens, thank you, at the Holyoke Elks and the Ashley Reservoir. Yep. So the 5K, beautiful in the fall.
Yeah.
If people want to make a donation, they just go to Magic for Maddie. Yep. You don't have to do it today. You don't have to do it tomorrow, or when's the event? October 18th, right?
Saturday, October 18th.
You can do it the 19th through next year, right?
Yes. All donations are being matched right now. So
what do you mean?
Hyundai Hope on Wheels is we call it our ringleader sponsor, and they are matching all donations through the event. So
really?
Yes. So every impact will be doubled. Yeah.
Wow. So if I give you $1, it's really $2. If I give you $100, it's $200.
You give us 1,000, it becomes 2,000.
Really?
Yep.
What a great partnership that is. Because that helps.
We've been really blessed with Hyundai Hope on Wheels, and locally with Gary Rome Hyundai sort of facilitating that sponsorship.
That is fantastic. I mentioned it before. Through tragedy come great things, and we all wish Maddie were here, obviously.
Of course, yes.
But the work that you ladies, your families are doing to keep Maddie, Maddie's spirit going and help other families is just $1 million. I can't believe that.
We can't either. We can't either. Every year we get nervous and we want to see what happens, and we're just been blown away every single year, and it just means everything.
And I know some fundraising events, they hit a certain fundraising level and then they stop, and that money sort of, whether it's invested or whatnot, it just kind of it's always there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like you can do that, because you're always dispersing the money. So is this going to happen next year and the year after?
We hope so. That's our plan. If everyone continues to be amazing like they have been, that is, the kids look forward to this day. The families look forward to this day. People that knew Maddie just love everything there because it represents Maddie.
Right.
And people that didn't know Maddie now know her. And people will come up to me and just be like, I didn't know Maddie, but I see her sparkle. And we've got 8-year-olds running their own lemonade stands to try to be a sponsor. And it's it's incredible. Truly.
Well, it is incredible that you two gave me so much of your time today. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, you're doing great work for children, not only just here in the Pioneer Valley, but the region and across the country. So thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you for having us.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.